How much of this is a watershed moment, but how much does it also, just by the sheer fact that we're talking about it and have been talking about it over the past week, indicate just how much work there is to be done?
Well, first of all, it is a watershed moment, and the fact that we have a woman finally running a major bank is wonderful. But we still have a long way to go in terms of building a pipeline that's sustainable, where women really have true equity. So, you know, even it's most of the banks, while you have parity at the entry level, by the time you get to the middle, you're at about 25%. At the top, you have much less than that. Now, the banks have been working very hard at changing those numbers. And I think that intentionality has really shown. Jane was really sponsored through a number of really important jobs, so she was really qualified and the best candidate to get there. But that's been the result of a lot of work on the part of Citi to make that happen.
So I think one of the reasons why you have just a dearth of female leadership candidates is, as you say, in that middle segment, right, where you don't have as mmany of the most promising female talent continue to go through. Is that part of the lack of flexibility? It's not just a monetary compensation issue, right? It's the reluctance of a lot of firms to see flexible working practices as being something that they need to do, as opposed to just a nice benefit.
Well, what we call the frozen middle that you are talking about is where a lot of women and, people of color in the United States, for example, don't can't progress, and it's a result of quite a few practices. First of all, there's a lot of unconscious bias, and there's, as you say, flexible practices really do help. And I'm actually quite encouraged that this move to flexible and remote that we're experiencing around knowledge workers in the pandemic will build new habits around that will benefit women. And Catalyst research has shown that is really important. But there's a lot of cultural issues that need to be overcome. So, Citi has implemented programs that provide sponsorship, that do unconscious bias training, that help, men in particular, white men in particular, really understand their privilege and help them become allies for women and underserved minorities.
Has the pandemic, in a way, helped start the conversation on these challenges that women face, especially having to work and the chores that they face at home?
I think definitely. In fact, we've done research in that area, and everyone is dealing with the issues, especially as we go back to school. The burden of childcare and homeschooling. So both men and women, parents, are understanding that. So there's a lot more empathy, and so the need to understand the needs of everyone and to try to move towards equity, I think, is really on the front page right now.